Yeah, and then let's see, what did he do next?
Well, after that, he goes into like the color room.
Oh, the rainbow.
The ink and paint department.
The rainbow.
Yeah.
Well, they call it the rainbow room, right?
I think
Yes,
so.
that's the code word.
Oh. Well, I mean, it is because he goes in, and then at first it's like it looks like scientists like making like I didn't know what they're making at first, but then it turns out they're making the color, the different colors, and then at one point
chemicals,
yeah, and at one point you see them making I think they highlight like a blue, and then I'm thinking, oh, is this like the Disney blue?
Well, this is the second scene that I really, really want to break down.
Okay,
because I have a lot of notes.
Okay.
So the first draft of the script for this movie was written up on the 8th of August, 1940.
Mm-hmm.
And the section with the ink and paint department was originally supposed to feature the girls shouting out orders in the crisp manner of lunchroom waitresses. There were supposed to be lines like, 1 Robin Hood and a dusky rose, mood indigo number 5, sink the pickle green and make it 4 blue Monday.
Oh.
And then eventually he was supposed to be led around by Humphrey in this scene.
Okay.
And he's supposed to step in and he's like, are all these pretty girls artists? Then he spots the paint jars and he remarks like, this reminds me of my Aunt Effie's fruit cellar. And then Humphrey's supposed to correct him with a line that was inexplicably edited out of subsequent God, there's so many subsequent scripts. He was to say, the girls in our paint lab are all trained chemists. Unquote. And that got cut out. So.
Huh. And I was interested to know, like, was this just like were they scientists? So it's really cool to know, like, they had these chemist women pretty much making these animations, like, iconic, what they are.
Yeah.
Like, without color, they're not as iconic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say that's one of the more memorable things about them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's an age where women can work in these positions, but they can't get credit for them.
Right.
Oh.
Which is already a big issue with a lot of industries, even today. So,
mm-hmm.
But also in October of that year, the ink and paint lab was actually reconstructed on one of the studio sound stages and spanned 11,000 square feet. This was done for several reasons. First one is that the paints and the cells in the actual building were sensitive to light, so they'd have to bring in all of these arch lights and cameras and all this heavy equipment into the building, and then dust and other artifacts could latch onto the cells because they were really sensitive. And then, of course, the obvious thing is that production on the films would have been delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So that all of the stuff for this movie got moved to a soundstage, whereas final production work on Fantasia, as well as on Dumbo and Bambi, resumed in the actual building.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Movie magic.
yeah. I was gonna say that's it's when he was going through the different rooms, I was thinking it's not really that room that he's walking through. He just walked in through that door, and then filmed the next day somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, it's just I could tell I think they might have had this backdrop depicting the exteriors of the other buildings and stuff, and I was like, I can tell.
Yeah?
I can tell y'all are not being real with me right now. Y'all are playing. Stop that. But and then we have this epic. Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say that part was really cool because of like Christina said, these iconic colors that even though it might be like subconscious, that the way we see them, the way we think of the Disney blue, right? Or with green for villains. Yeah.
Ariel red.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably the most satisfying sequence in the whole movie.
Yeah, well, it's like how you said the whole Willy Wonka thing. This part felt like they were making, they were making something, right? Because they're like dropping things in like mixing.
They were literally
things.
wearing gas masks.
Yeah, and then he just walks in. Yeah.
Oh, these pretty girls in their Fallout 4 gear. But man, it was like serious shit. And the best part was that, of course, they have, because it's a Disney movie, they have to provide musical accompaniment. And Hi Ho was the selection. And I was like, yes, this is everything.
Yes.
Oh, you know, and sorry, I forgot to mention, when they were driving to the studio, Whistle While You Work was playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also very nice.
Yeah, so I was like, it brought me back. You know, it made me feel like, oh, cool, like we're watching a Disney movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I guess one other thing I can share is that for publicity, a photo shoot featuring the 15 loveliest studio girls, quote unquote, in their bathing suits was announced a few months before the movie was released. Anonymous balloting was to take place, but because of those, I added this in, this wasn't actually from the source that I pulled this from, but because of those horny male whippersnappers, the announcement stated, quote, "It is unlikely that time or place of shooting will be divulged," unquote. Now, this photo shoot, it revolved around a quote-unquote beauty pageant with the premise that Walt was selecting 15 girls to play roles in the movie. I have to assure you all that this was purely for publicity, and the event was held in May of 1941, 7 months after filming had wrapped. So, but among the women selected to model were inker June Patterson, who was the only woman wearing a two-piece suit.
At Disney? Was it guys and girls in the beauty contest? Were you in the beauty contest?
Where's the picture, Kim?
Oh, there's one of them. I'll go get it off the wall.
Oh, yeah, I'm there.
It's a picture of
This was
all the
in
girls in a beauty contest here with Walt Disney
That's me.
in the center. Yeah. Was this the last beauty contest they had?
The first and only, I think.
Wow. Did you strike?
First, last, no. But I'll tell you, I don't know, this is the one where we're up on the wall. There's one of them where we're up on the wall.
Yeah, we have that one over here.
That was so scary. To stand up on that. I think about heights anyway. And I had high heels on.
Oh, here on the wall here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I recognize the buildings from the studio. That's the Burbank lot. Yeah, those buildings are still there.
I was scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared of cat when it comes to heights. I don't like them.
It looks like it was pretty high considering.
It was. And then you have high heels on.
Oh, it makes it that much
Yeah,
more difficult
scarier.
to stand.
Yeah, she's the one in the two-piece.
Yeah, I'm the only one in a two-piece bathing suit.
And Helen Bradbury.
Damn, like that's just, well, it goes like how you were saying that women can work in these things, but they can't take, like they can't be acknowledged for like their smarts. It's only like, well, look at this pretty, like how they would say it back in the day, right?
She's like
pretty...
va va voom.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy. Yeah. I wonder. So then that was never, like, did they ever shoot that?
They did, but I don't know what media outlets they would have sent that to, but there are photos of like women standing within this like what's it called? It's like a cutout that's like they like supposed to walk through to show off their proportions and stuff.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Like their silhouettes kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to show that they're not curvy goils.
Yeah.
But this had absolutely nothing to do with the movie itself. It was just for publicity. And there's even a newspaper ad. And I would just like to read how they describe this movie to interested audiences.
Let's see.
It says, "Gasp at the place where rainbows are made. Delight in the sight of dozens of dazzling girls. Roar at the tea-drinking dragon and the nutty knight. Scream at the horse who hee-haws his rider. Thrill to the amazing train talking as if alive. marvel and countless other wonders, with fun in every one. Roar at Robert Benchley, blundering into make-believe land.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like if you were to tell me that and then go, so we're going to the Disney studio.
They got girls there.
What?
He's got hoes in different area codes? Well, I'll be damned.
No, for a second before you mentioned like the dragon and the night, this could have been like and like an advertising for like the Playboy Mansion tour or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's a studio?
We're also a modeling agency. So yeah, we're actually starting off a line with Victoria's Secret. It's actually
It's called the Rainbow Room.
based on Fantasia. You remember the Pastoral Symphony with the Centaurettes? You know, we're modeling a collection based on that. So.
Oh God.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. If only. Anyway. But let's see. So then after those girl bosses were messing around with the chemicals, Doris, she actually gets a cell of Bambi, puts against a background, and another bit of fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, because it's just a steal, but then he like, I forgot what he says. Like, is he shy or something like that? And then, or he's not moving.
He said, very cunning too. I'd like to take him home with me.
Oh yeah, and then he's like, hell no,
Hell no.
Yeah,
Golly gee, sir, hell no.
yeah, and then he like moves and like it's like it just comes to life and then it moves and then and then doesn't. I could be wrong, but doesn't she say something like about magic?
Magic.
I remember something about there's magic here or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I have to rewatch that part. But when that happens, something like that is mentioned, like, oh, it's the magic in this place or something like that.
I don't think I recall.
Yeah, but I'll have to watch it again. But
I think I was too distracted by him being an asshole again. Being like, how does this look? And he's like, well, pretty great if you get that reindeer out of the way.
Oh yeah. See, like you can't show him anything.
Yeah, I'll show you the background that goes along with it. Nothing wrong with the one I just saw. It's like, my God, dude, you are getting this experience for free.
Yeah, people would pay big bucks for that.
Yeah, my God. Give me a time machine.
Right?
All right. But then, yeah, I think that was a brief stint into the background and layout department. But then they go through the various models and maquettes of the characters that they're working on for these films.
And he's just like, where's Mickey Mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he like
also that bust of Chernobog.
Like just suddenly like in the background because like the lady comes into frame and she places it down and he doesn't even like acknowledge it. He just like walks past it. But that's a whole statue of him.
It's everything.
It's badass, right? And then he's like on the mountain and stuff. It's like this thing's like maybe 10 inches tall.
Yeah.
And then he just passes it, and that's it. And then he goes into he goes into like the little I couldn't really make out most of them, but at the end I believe that was Timothy Q. Mouse that she places.
There were actually some models for characters for Peter Pan and Lady and the Tramp.
Oh. Yeah, because like there's like I was just like trying to pay attention to everything, and I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, what if some of these are for future films that we haven't seen?
They are.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Now like things like that makes you want to go back and watch this movie.
Yeah.
To catch all the little like Easter eggs and stuff.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think, it's like Sleeping Beauty was the first movie that they had like produced, animated, recorded everything in the 1950s. Everything else had been in pre-production through the 1930s and 40s. So, yeah. I think Lady and the Tramp, it might have started in 1937. Peter Pan was the year after, I think. Alice was also around the same time. Cinderella, Wind in the Willows. Yeah, they were working on a lot of stuff, and then the Second World War just threw a wrench into everything.
Yeah, but I didn't. If anything, I think I'm gonna go back and pause it.
Yeah,
so I can see all the different things. But yeah, no.
Yeah, there's one with Aunt Sarah and her 2 cats.
Oh, okay. I'll have to keep my eye out.
I think even then they might have been Asian stereotypes.
I was gonna say those 2 cats, the Siamese.
Yeah.
Like,
fun.
No, but you're right. That I don't know why they just put the Chernobog, like, cause like they placed it in frame so you can notice it, and then he didn't acknowledge it, and then I'm wondering like are those things still like? I wonder if they're for sale. Like all of those things.
No, I actually don't know what they've done with all of them. I know they have the there's the archives, and then there's the animation research library, but I don't know which one those would go to.
Because imagine to have that, the big Chernobog statue.
Yeah. I swear to God, if they threw that out,
oh no,
we're gonna have problems.
But yeah, well, and was that a Geppetto clock?
Yeah, one of the cuckoo clocks.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, one of the more tamer ones.
No, it was the drunk guy falling out of the bar.
no, but there's some like
so
like
tame.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's like some of like remember like the somebody's trying to shoot a bird out of a tree or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, and then the mom spanking her kid.
That was my personal favorite.
Oh gosh. And then he finds one maquette that he really fancies.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well that's the one that right when they put the Timothy Q. Mouse one, then he like doesn't acknowledge that one. And he's like, oh, what does he say? He's like, this one's neat, or this one is...
No, he said, well, here's a cute little number.
Oh, you gotta make it creepier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
At the very least, I'm like, it's at least she's being like acknowledged as a woman, not just as a black woman.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Like we'll get into it later, but like that thing, like it comes up again.
Yeah, he steals it.
well, yeah, he steals it, and then it comes up later in still not a so positive way. But but he so that's from Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that one actually is still in the movie.
It is.
Yes.
She appears with Bacchus, I think.
Okay.
With Little Caesar.
Okay. Because for a second, like for a second, when I saw that, I thought it was
one of the removed scenes.
Yeah. What was that?
No.
Yeah, for like
it wasn't her.
Yeah, for like a split second, I was like, oh no, and I was like, well, still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess he steals it, and it's interesting because. Like he's been giving things, right? Like even here they give him the clay.
The of his,
yeah. By an actual sculptor. Her name is Vera Younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but for some reason, I guess he felt like he had to steal this one thing though. So, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. Go for it. I was just gonna say that was. Interesting that's the one thing he decided to steal.
Yeah. And then he had a really weird line where she was like, "Oh, they're not for sale," and then he's like, "Oh, then what are they for? Or am I too young to know?"
Yeah. What the hell was up with that?
It's like, why are you being weird right now, Robert?
Why?
I know.
If it was supposed to have a wholesome connotation, I don't know what it was.
I don't know.
Because like try saying that anywhere. It won't come off. You know, it's like if you go to like a nutrition store and you ask them, "Oh, what does this powder do?" or "Am I too old to know?" or like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
What's in this roll of posters from Sports Illustrated? Or am I too young to know?
Yeah. Yeah. So you're like, it's just yeah. No, that was weird. He had to make it weird.
Yeah. Let's see. And then he heads out again. Humphrey's on his ass.
Yeah, he's
again.
looking for him.
And then I think he hides inside the story department.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and this
And
is... Mm-hmm.
It turns out they've got a baby that they're holding hostage as reference for for a short called Baby Weems.
Baby Weems.
Yes. And fun fact, that baby is actually the director's son.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The director's name is Hamilton Lusk. That's his son, James.
Okay.
Okay, they didn't just pick this baby out of.
He wasn't just like a random kid.
It's studio nepotism.
And then, I had mentioned this to Christina. So 1941, that baby, I don't know how
1940.
old. 1940. That baby, do you know if he's still alive?
I can look that up.
Okay,
I don't believe so.
Okay, because I know he'll be super old, but I was just thinking if that was me, I would be like, oh, I was in this movie, guys. I was the inspiration for Baby Weems. Like, who?
Who are you? Hold on.
Like
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Grandpa.
His first name is Jim.
Jim. Okay.
Jim. And he lived to be... I know he's got an article remembering his father listed on cartoonresearch.com from 2015.
Okay.
But I don't know if he's still with us.
Oh, well, I was just thinking, like, that would have been cool to... You will always have that. You were in a Disney movie when you were a baby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What? Actually, he talks about the Reluctant Dragon somewhere, but I'm trying to pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
You know how artists go into like conventions after they've done a show and they still get like autographed or like they still sell autographs and stuff like that. Like I would have milked it. I would have been like, I'm Baby Weems. like bring me the poster for like the Reluctant Dragon or like any DVDs or VHSs and I'll sign them.
Yeah. I will say that Jim was born on the 8th of May of that year.
Oh, okay.
So it would have started in around October, November.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like 5 months old.
Wow. So little.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, it's a baby. I'm just like,
I-
wow.
Yeah. And then his brother, I believe his name was Tommy, he would go on to play Michael Darling in Peter Pan.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Well, we keep it in the family, Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah, if I worked at Disney, I would get everyone I knew to work there
Well,
too.
I'm just like Ham Lusk. He's got like really good genes, I guess, because his kids are so freaking cute.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, that kid's blue eyes. Oh my god.
So cute.
Yeah, like Gerber baby.
Yeah.
For
Like,
real.
Like it's like I know that they say like they take liberties with like when they get something like as inspiration, but it was almost like a direct translation from Baby Weems to that baby to Jim. Yeah. It wasn't that much they had to change, just make him like animated.
Yeah. And actually, then the baby has to get taken out because I guess they've been drawing him for far too long. And then they have Alan Ladd, who's actually like another actor. He's best known for the movie Shane, among others. But he tells us the story of Baby Weems, which was written up by Joe Grant and Dick Humer, who also co-wrote the story for Dumbo.
Oh, nice.
And the storyboards that we see illustrating this short were drawn by John Miller, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, and then when I saw that, I was like, so far we've been going into the animation, right, when they show us things. And then I was like, oh, cool, we're going to see like the story because, you see like the whole storyboard layout, how like the beginning all the way to the end. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, cool, like we're actually going to see like not only like the timeline of it, like from the beginning to end, but we're actually going to like in real time be seeing it.
Yeah.
Like an animation form.
Yeah. This short, how do we feel?
Well, okay. Oh, go for it, babe. Go for it.
I thought it was interesting and cute. But I feel like I was so confused when it's like all of a sudden he has a fever and now he's a baby, like a real baby. And I was like, okay, that was like it wasn't as dramatic as I was expecting that change to be. But it was like, okay, like, sure. I was more into just like following along the story as they were explaining it in the storyboard. But the story was kind of like, meh, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine that this isn't rendered at 24 frames per second.
No, so the short was fine. It was cute. It was fine until it took like a hard left. At least for me, it was. It was like, okay, you got this little baby genius boy. You know, he knows all these things. His parents apparently can't see him because he's too famous.
Which I thought was like, why can't the parents just fight harder to get their baby back? But
well, it's security.
We have
everywhere.
ID.
Yeah, everywhere. Like, and the kid, like at one point they almost got to him, and the bouncer was like, "Do you have an appointment or something like that?" Like, so then, yeah, like, it's all. I think it was cute. I thought it was cute, but then as soon as he suddenly, like, I don't think they explained what he got sick from. He just fell into like an illness.
Fever.
It was a fever, like, because they had that thermometer that kept rising.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
they had it literally installed on the building.
So then he's sick, or and then they do a broadcast, a worldwide broadcast.
Yeah, because this is worldwide news, so
yeah, and
the whole world is watching.
Yeah, and this is when it gets to for me the hard left. It's just the way that different cultures were represented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's I feel like it was extra like because all this is animated. So somebody went in there and penciled this and everything. At one point I think they're in China, and then the microphone is like a little, I don't know what it's called exactly, but like the little it has like the little kind of like the China house building with like the curve, yeah, kind of like the.
It was just exaggerated.
Yeah.
It was just exaggerated to the point where it was like, okay, you had taken it too far with the idea.
Yeah.
But you just exaggerated it.
No, and then at one point we paused it. Like we're watching this and we paused it, and then we happened to pause it on the last, I guess, nation or like the last like place they went to.
Started.
Yeah.
And we literally gasped. We were like,
and then
what?
Yeah, and then we paused it and we're just sitting there like, in the living room, like looking at this image, this full like framed just image, and like things that you would see. And
context for the listeners.
Sorry.
I don't know. We'll just go ahead and say an announcer from Africa.
Yeah.
And the lips that they put on this character.
Well, it's blackface. That's pretty.
No, I don't think it's blackface.
No?
I think it's just that they elongated the lips to like you were saying, like an exaggerated degree.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was blackface.
Well, so they have this image, and then we paused it, and we're literally looking like I was just thinking, why is like Disney put this here? It's still on Disney Plus, but the Song of the South is banned.
But I mean, I could see your argument there,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like very different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I guess I also thought that too, but in terms of Fantasia, I was like, oh, they cut things from Fantasia, but they couldn't cut things from this film. But then I guess I mean.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of research on obviously this era, and I can say that part of the reason why they might be less hesitant about Fantasia is because from what I've gathered, it seems like that those caricatures were like a very last minute choice in production, because like there are lots and lots and lots of story sketches and visual development and concept art that does not feature those characters. There are even shots that they would use in like one thing they don't talk about in this movie are sweatbox sessions where like Walt and the various animators would go over and look at whatever sketches and drawings animators had been working on and approve them or disapprove and tell them to fix it again or something. And there are some pieces where it's like, you know, the scene in Fantasia where Bacchus is being led up to his throne, and then as soon as he gets to the top, he starts toppling back and forth and then falling back down again. There are some drawings where that character isn't even present.
Oh, okay.
So I really think that somebody, a real racist asshole, got his way in the end, and nobody seemed to object.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't ever want to make it sound like I don't condone that whatsoever. Even at that time, even then, that would have been considered like an old-fashioned joke. But I do want to understand why they make decisions like that. And for Fantasia, I think, especially with it being like the first segment that we get to after the intermission, I think it's that this concept of a concert movie would have been so bananas to people. And also there isn't really a lot of comedy in the pastoral segment up to that point. Like it's all very adorable and also romantic, a lot of drama. So I think this was like their really lazy attempt at comedy. So,
Oh, okay.
And they were like this is already like really heady for a lot of people. Let's put something in that'll make them feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I think they missed the mark. Well, I don't know. Maybe during those times, like the initial audience, I don't know. You know.
Well, for perspective, because I've also been looking into Dumbo because of our rankings. So 2 months after Dumbo came out, there was an MGM movie called Babes on Broadway. It came out. It starred Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, and it's another one of those like two kids putting on a big show in the barn kind of movies. But then at the end, the way that they choose to illustrate their newfound success on Broadway is to perform a 15-minute long minstrel show sequence. And I know from evidence that Judy definitely was not into it, but she was contractually obligated to do it. And a lot of people have said that like she doesn't like take in the stereotypes associated with the show. She just does Judy, and that's the best praise we can give. But there was an anecdote that the vocal arranger on that movie, Roger Eden, shared, where they previewed that sequence to an audience before it debuted, and it went down like a sack of potatoes because there was no scene where it showed Mickey and Judy getting into the blackface.
Oh God.
But once they put that scene in, then it went successfully.
Wow.
So yeah.
Interesting times.
Yeah.
Interesting times. And it's so weird because that stuff is like, even in 1941, that is old. And yet, it still had an audience.
Right.
Yeah. Like you said, like there's some racist person that got their way.
Yeah. Like, as far as I know, there are only two people that I could point fingers at. There was Milt Neal, who animated the Sunflower character. And then there was another man in the story department who did these really grotesque drawings of zebra centaurettes. I can't remember his name, but I have the drawings. But there was one where he gave one of them like really weird tits.
So
just like exaggerated, stereotypical generalizing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the world this movie was made in. So.
Wait, but anyways, back to Baby Weems.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, everyone.
No, it's
No, it's okay. It's always
Okay.
interesting to dive into stuff like that. At least I think. So.
No, it's part of it. It's part of like I think it would be weird if you saw that and then you were like, anyways.
Yeah.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just so real. Like
Yeah.
So
and it was like when we saw that, I was like, we literally paused it, and it felt wrong. It felt wrong. What are we looking at right now?
Yeah.
But then after that, after they do all that segment, whatever.
I'm sorry. I just had one more thing. I don't know what this short was intended to say in terms of like messaging, but it just leaves me with this really bleak question of like, what if you peaked as an infant?
As a
Oh,
baby.
you're right,
man.
because it's I don't know if it's implied, but I guess you can say that like he's not gonna be a genius. He's just gonna grow up to be a baby, like a regular person.
A nobody.
And then no one's gonna maybe it's also a thing about fame, because as soon as he starts not saying words, people turn off the radio and they just turn on him, And then,
I mean, his parents were happy to have him back.
It's also about that. It's also about like the people who really care about you are always there no matter what.
Which actually, it's funny because as I said, this was written by the same two guys that wrote Dumbo. And it seems like these guys have got some they've got some ideas about the world. Mainly that nobody in this world will love you unconditionally except your parents.
Right. Yeah.
Or just your mom.
Or just your mom in Dumbo's case.
Yeah.
But he gets he gets
it's
better.
Cruel world.
Yeah. No, but at least he gets better. And he becomes just a regular baby, but he gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's all we could ask for.
Yeah. And then we don't even see like the last shot technically, right? Because it just
I think it's supposed to like fade out after the final shot of Weems in profile. But yeah, and actually the whole time they were supposed to have Frank Churchill, who was the one of the composers for several Disney movies. He's actually playing the piano as they go over this sequence. And unfortunately, he only lived another year.
Oh.
Because from what I've heard, it seems like a lot of his close friends in the musical department had passed away, and he was very depressed about that. Also, he was having some sort of beef with Walt around Bambi, and, for example, the Love's a Song That Never Ends piece. When that was being ready to be sent to a publisher, he actually wanted the song to be dedicated to his wife, but I guess he might have missed the boat on it, and it already got sent out or something, and they wouldn't accept his request. And then he committed suicide the following year.
Oh,
what?
So sad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah. And he wrote some of the happiest songs.
That's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's it's always like it sucks whenever that happens to anybody. But I feel like it's highlighted, like more highlighted when you're like, oh, the person was always happy, or at least that's what you saw.
He wrote "Whistle While You Work."
Yeah.
He wrote "Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf." He wrote "Someday My Prince Will Come."
Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me cry, Wyatt.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's so sad.
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Oh man.
But anyway, so he leaves the story department. They try to get him in on something else, but he's like, "No, I gotta go. Like, this is too wild for me. I'm not having a good time." And then he ends up in an animator's room.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the animator's room.
Yeah. And those three men are actually all legit Disney animators.
Okay.
First we have Ward Kimball, who's doing those pencil sketches of Goofy. Then there's Fred Moore. I think he's in the blue polo shirt. Or the sweater. Is it a cardigan? I can't remember. Anyway. And then we have Norm Ferguson animating Pluto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the part was interesting. I guess I didn't think to like him acting it out, kind of like how does a dog sound, right? Or how does he like emote and stuff like that? And actually, because he had like a mirror and stuff as he was sketching.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, it's always been said that animators are actors with pencils.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's even true like in voice acting. You know, like they're acting it out, voice acting. You know, like they're acting out the motions of whatever their character is doing, and then sometimes they get inspiration. The animators get inspiration from that to put into the animation. So then, it's pretty cool. That like again, I guess I just didn't think of it of them being like, so how would a dog like the part when he goes think like a dog.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah.
Yeah. Stick your tongue out for the next 25 minutes. Hold it.
Yeah, so then but then we see Robert, right? He's there, and like at this point I think he's just like when he starts to get into something, I feel like he's just doing it like as like joke, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not really like interested.
Yeah.
You know, he's just kind of being like sarcastic about the whole thing.
He's just there.
So now I don't buy anything. I don't buy him being happy about anything. Like at least what he's looking at and stuff.
Well, speaking of which, he notices these pastiches of famous paintings that are filled with Donald Duck.
Yeah. I thought the part was pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen those, and I was wondering...
Those were actually intended for an actual Donald Duck short.
Oh, okay.
There was supposed to be for one where Donald was supposed to be like a museum manager, and then Huey, Dewey, and Louie would all be wreaking havoc in a museum, and all of these paintings were supposed to be used for background designs, but that never happened.
Man,
that sounds cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say like so far like there's like cool things that we've seen in this movie that just didn't like make it. At least we're seeing it here, but I'm like, oh man, that kind of sucks. Like the Casey Jr. part, like we technically saw it, but we didn't see it in a whole. You know, we didn't see it as a part of a movie.
Yeah.
And that would have been cool. I'm
dibs on dancing ducks.
I was gonna say, I'm still bummed about the the duet of Donald. I'm still bummed that wasn't anything. I was excited.
That could have been a Fantasia that you guys probably liked.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, if that was in it? Oh, 10 out of 10.
You'll just have to wait till Fantasia 2000. I'm sorry.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I have a question for you. Which one do you like? Which one do you like more? The Fantasia or Fantasia 2000?
Fantasia.
Fantasia? Okay.
There's just something I like when art lets me interpret things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas Fantasia 2000, it has these stories that you're forced to follow up on, and I'm just like, sometimes I like it. Like I think there's only 2 segments that I really, really like.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Interesting. Well, we haven't seen it, so at least I haven't seen it. So
yeah, well, just know that's the only OG segment in there. So
okay.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
So then, oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
No. But yeah, that's it's just something weird with me. I like the artistic shit. Like I love Pink Elephants on Parade, unlike you guys.
Yeah,
but,
that was a little much for me.
Yeah. I think I was just so depressed by that point that I was like, please just give me something. But barring that, they show him this this goofy short called How to Ride a Horse. Narrated by John McLeish, who would go on to narrate all of the Goofy shorts. And the funny thing is that the reason that Goofy doesn't speak in these is because his voice actor, Pinto Colvig, had left the studio shortly after Snow White on a bad note with Walt. And so they were like, okay, what do we do? What do we do to make this not just like a guy walking around like messing shit up?
Mm-hmm.
And they had this story guy named John McLeish, who was like, I think Jack King, he mentioned him or Jack Kinney, excuse me. He recalled how he was this huge fan of the actor John Barrymore, and he had this like wonderful sonorous voice. And he was like, that's the guy that we need to narrate these shorts. And the first few times he was like, oh, just go ahead and do it. Just go. Just give me what you got. And then by the third time that they asked him to record stuff, he knew that they were like, like, what's the phrase? Pulling his leg. But then he just went on doing it because they knew he had something. So, and I like him. So
nice.
But anyway, Goofy messes shit up with the horse.
Yeah, this part kind of reminded me of El Gaucho.
Gaucho Goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of like the same. Oh, he just kind of showing us like how it's like. It's almost like a spiritual like sequel, because in the other one he's remember he starts off as a cowboy, and then it goes into being a gaucho, right? And then he comes back.
But this one would have come first.
Yeah. So then this one is like, okay, so now let's see the cowboy, right? Like part of how to ride a horse. Just that part. Yeah. No,
my favorite part of El Gaucho Goofy was when he was singing.
Yes.
And the record player started.
Yes.
I honestly wish that would have gone on a bit longer, because I really liked that.
That was my favorite part too. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, because for a second,
like that beautiful voice.
Yeah, because for a second, you know how like sometimes Goofy will just out of nowhere just have a talent.
Yeah.
So then this time, I'm like, oh look, he can play and he can sing, and then the camera just pans to the right, and then you're like, oh,
nah, he's hopeless.
But yeah, this is what that reminded me of, and yeah, like this is probably like, I know we haven't gone to the Reluctant Dragon, but this is for me, this is my favorite animated segment of this movie, the Goofy part.
Well, I hate to break the news to you.
Oh, no.
But this short was essentially thrown in 2 months before the film came out in order to appease Disney's distributor, RKO Radio Pictures, who just wanted to increase the viewership of this short that they enjoyed.
Thank God it was.
Yeah.
because I really like it, so.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. But yeah. It's a Goofy short.
Yeah, and I really like it. Yeah,
honestly, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, like if you like any Goofy short, this is I think this is a really good one.
He's just Goofy being Goofy.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like I have his voice like ingrained in my head that like until you said right now that he didn't speak, I didn't remember that he didn't speak.
Yeah.
So in my head,
where was that holler?
You're right. Yeah. Still.
Yeah.
But then but wait, so then it's after the movie, right? Then after he's shown this movie that he's, I guess he goes to the guy drawing Pluto.
Yes.
Is that okay? Yeah, it's after. Okay, yeah.
And they're like, "Hello, nurse."
Yeah, and then they just keep like, I don't know, like he shows them how to do it, and then he's just like, "Is this how?" Right?
Yeah.
And then he does it with them, and I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like,
okay, okay, dude.
The random dude that just walked on into the studio.
Who are you, and why are you sticking your tongue out with me?
Yeah, and that was deep in the studio too. So then it was. I know it's a movie. But it was, but I know I like how he was like, like, come in, we like being distracted or something like that. Initially,
we welcome distractions. Yeah, yeah.
But then, what was his name again? The assistant,
Humphrey.
Sorry, sorry. It just like I forgot his name. Okay, so Humphrey. So
the pill. Yes,
I'm sure Robert forgot his name too.
But then he's like, "What are you doing?" Like when he finds him with his tongue out.
Yeah.
And then he tells them we're gonna go. He's like,
Walt's waiting in the projection room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we finally, after, what has it been? 2.5 hours. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a hack job for me to edit. But they finally make it to the projection room, and Walt is sitting weirdly in a chair.
We were gonna say, like I pointed it out, and then Christina goes, "Well, he's sitting like he owns the place."
Yeah.
So yeah. So like, if I owned that, I would sit like that too, I guess.
I was really intimidated when we saw him on screen. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Walt Disney!" Like,
yeah, because I've never really seen, besides just like promotional stuff, right?
Yeah,
like I've never just seen him like pop out in something, and I was actually like, is he in this? I was like, or is he gonna?
He's in it.
I was like, at the end, is it gonna be like, oh, we just missed him, or I thought it was gonna be one of those things, like, or like an actor you just see like, like over the shoulder or something. I thought it was gonna be.
He gives him Mickey Mouse's autograph card.
Something, yeah. I thought it was gonna be something like that, but then we see him. I'm like, oh shit, like he's there.
And I gotta be real, guys. I know it's not Pride Month anymore, and I know we're talking about a dead man.
Okay, but
he's also quite fine.
He really is. I have to agree with you there.
It's that mustache.
It kind of, yeah.
I think it's like, I don't know. He was just very like charismatic and like, I don't know.
He just had.
There was something about him.
He has like
something about him. My
God. like I think I read this somewhere. So quick question. Like, have you seen any of like the Marvel movies?
I've seen a few of the Captain Americas. I've seen the 2 Guardians of the Galaxies, a few Avengers, but I haven't seen all of them. So
in one of the Iron Man movies.
So none of the ones he just said.
I'm sorry.
I haven't seen the Iron Man movies either. Don't worry.
So in one of the Iron Man movies, right? Like, there's a video from Iron Man's dad that he leaves him, and he's supposed to represent Walt Disney, because behind him there's the Stark Expo that it looks like Disneyland, and he has that look. He has the hair slicked back with the mustache. And then like the kind of like the Mr. Rogers kind of,
Cardigan.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then Tony Stark's dad was like a playboy, like handsome, So then they draw that comparison to Walt Disney. So then there you go.
Yeah.
So I can see how, and also with the charisma and everything,
Yeah. Him and Ken, my God. One of each.
Oh.
But yeah, the Reluctant Dragon.
which we're finally getting into, actually.
Yeah,
yes,
I was
I'm so sorry.
surprised. No. But like, as watching the movie, I was like, oh, finally! Like, there's actually a dragon.
Yeah, because like I said, like you see the sneak peek, and I'm just like, okay, like this movie's an hour and 14 minutes, something like that, and then it starts off live action, and honestly, I was having so much fun with like walking through the studio that when they finally get to the theater room, or the projection room, and then like he's like, oh, we're gonna watch a movie. This is what I'm like, oh, well, they're gonna watch The Reluctant Dragon, and I had forgotten about because I was having so much fun with the rest of it.
But I wasn't I wasn't too mad about it, because I'm like, oh, cool, like we got to see Walt.
Yeah,
and, like it feels like we're watching it with him.
I mean, technically, we're watching it with him. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Finally, to the nines, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we get into the movie.
Yeah. So this is actually based off a story by Kenneth Grahame. It's a short story from his 1908 book, Dream Days. It basically centers around a dragon who does not like to fight.
Yeah, and it was his most popular one, right? This was his most.
I think so. Well, Isn't The Wind in the Willows more popular?
I'm not quite sure. I just know that the Dream Days, it was like because that one came out after, right?
I think.
Yeah, but then like the Reluctant Dragon was like really popular, and then something that I read up was that it was like the inspiration, I guess, for modern stories that feature a dragon that's sympathetic.
Mm.
And then right away I thought of like, have you seen have you seen Dragonheart?
No.
I don't even know what that is.
No? Oh man. Well, anyways.
Is that one where there's a really scrawny guy and he gets impaled by something?
I don't remember. Like, I don't remember everything, but it could be. It involves it involves a dragon who half of his heart goes to a person because he's dying, so he gives him half of his heart. So then every time the person gets hurt, the dragon gets hurt, and vice versa. So, anyways, yeah, that's what I thought of.
Sounds devastating.
It has Kim Costner in it.
It sounds like fantasy organ donation.
But yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
Oh my goodness. Well. Huh. Let's see. What happens next? Oh yes, there's a boy. He's reading this book about dragons, and they're supposed to be these fearsome creatures that capture fair damsels and set fire to entire villages and shit. And then he stumbles upon a dragon in the nude, showering. And he's like, I don't know about this guy. Something's off.
Mm-hmm.
He really likes sonnets.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, let's just get this out of the way right now. This dragon is very queer.
Yeah, and see, I guess I didn't interpret it that way initially, but then upon research, I guess I could have kind of picked up on that, and I found it really interesting, and I think you sent us like some material that we watched, and I found it really fascinating and eye-opening, and it kind of gave a little bit more depth to the character of the Reluctant Dragon than just being like a silly character. He kind of became more iconic in my eyes after learning all of this background stuff too.
Yeah, I'd say that as a gay man, I can say that I'm not offended by this caricature.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's actually quite delightful.
Yeah.
The only thing I have a problem with is the ending, basically.
Where everything is like happily ever after.
Well, not happily ever after, but it's like he has to promise that he won't be like, and like he basically has to adapt to them instead of them adapting to him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like the video that we saw that you sent us, at the end, he the guy mentions that the fact that it seems like, oh cool, like a happy ending, like they accepted him, but the fact that was a prerequisite that they had to accept him, as opposed to like he just is, and then he's just here, as opposed to like he's
tolerated.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, essentially, like there's a fine line between accepted and tolerated, and then that's so for all we know, the next day, they didn't like him, so but
it's their loss.
Yeah, but because I thought it was cool. Like initially, like Christine said, like I didn't see him as like a queer character. I just thought he was, I don't know, I guess like very well. First, I didn't know if he was a girl or a guy, because he's a dragon. It is
pretty ambiguous.
He's a dragon,
right?
He's
a dragon. So.
Yeah, so I didn't. Yeah. I guess because it's like dragons are, when you think of a dragon, you think of like aggressive, more like I guess like
dangerous.
Right.
Yeah, like I guess
Deadly.
more male, I guess, like aggressive tone. Yeah, you know, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, but then you have the dragon from Shrek. So you know, so you know, so yeah. But anyways, like yeah, like he's taking a shower, right? And when the kid stumbles upon him.
Yeah, I think they actually had to redo that scene because originally he had a navel, and apparently the Ghez office, they were like, we cannot accept this dragon's belly button. Get rid of it.
So ridiculous. So ridiculous.
I know.
Yeah.
The Ghez code was something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But he like stumbles upon him taking a shower, and then he goes like turn around. Or like the other way, please, or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's cartoon, but he's naked when he's taking a shower, but then when he comes back out, he's still so you know, like it's not like he puts on something.
No.
But yeah,
I think the closest we get is when his ears turn into a bow.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking for like that, like the, like you know, like the not just like the voice, but like the hand gestures, anything he did because it's animation, so anything he would like you said, like the ears and stuff like that. But again, I didn't, you know, I just thought he was a cool character. That's just who he is.
Yeah, it's also just because his voice actor, it's like he is British, but he's also like putting on an affectation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, oh, it's just fabulous.
Yeah.
Which I'm here for, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, and then now I'm thinking, have you seen any of the videos for like Pride Night at Disneyland?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I have.
So,
God, I wish I was there.
Same.
Yeah, we pretty much live like vicariously through like Disney YouTubers.
Yeah.
You know, when there's like a new food out or like Oogie Boogie, things like that. We just been watching because we're gonna go soon-ish.
Yeah.
So
I loved Jeremy the T's vlog on Pride Night.
Did you see I haven't seen it. I just saw his posts. But...
Yeah, he dressed as Meg, and it was great.
Oh, I love it.
We gotta watch it.
Yeah,
yes,
we saw videos on Pride Night, and we're like, we really want to go, but I mean, there were a lot of characters that night that are kind of obscure character sightings. I wonder if they would ever include the Reluctant Dragon.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was like, because I didn't know about him before. So if they would have put him in there, I'd be like, who's that?
I don't know if they would acknowledge that, or I don't know.
At this point, I don't know if they'd acknowledge anything that wouldn't be profitable.
Right.
Because no one's really heard of this movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
True. And what I found in when I was looking up to see if the Reluctant Dragon was featured at parks, it really hasn't been. At one point in the 60s, he was included in some of the Christmas parades, but it didn't look anything like the one we see in the animation. The one in the parade is like scary and almost like just like it looks more like what you would think a dragon looks like a scary one. So I that would probably add to the confusion of people that have never seen the movie, and then they're like, who is that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, unfortunately, not much representation at the parks for the Reluctant Dragon.
Because now I want to see it.
And I don't know how you could plus it, honestly. Because then you'd have to make it so like the dragons, like the talking Mickeys and stuff, and I don't think they'd invest in that at all.
Yeah.
No.
So he kind of loses a lot of his charm.
Yeah.
So, c'est la vie. But also the Queen of Hearts was there. Oh my god.
Oh, that was... I'm so bummed I missed it. But we were also kind of like, it was only like a couple of nights, so we were like, I don't think it's fair to take away tickets from people that are, you know, part of the community. So we're supporting from afar, but we wish we could have been there.
Yeah, because it was so much fun. Like even watching it because we saw different like Disney tubers, and
Yeah.
and like it was like a party, like it was like almost like a
Dance
celebration.
parties everywhere. So cool.
And then I even had like a little suggestion that like maybe for next year. So you know how the Queen of Hearts is usually like she has like a helmet on or like a mask.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
not, you know, and this year they had like an actual person, like you can see her face. So I was thinking, you know how Ursula was based off a drag queen?
Yes.
Well, how about next year having an actual drag queen
That'd be so epic.
as Ursula?
But you know they're gonna go for a Melissa McCarthy type.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh well, I guess if they do like the movie version, or like the live action movie one,
Wearing what looked like business attire with tentacles.
I know. I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, girl slay, but also like, we could have had Shea Coulee or
It could have been.
Ella Day, please. Did you guys watch that episode of Snatch Game? Where she was playing Nigella Lawson.
No,
She was
we've
like-
watched several seasons of RuPaul, but unfortunately, I don't think we've seen that.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I
Not that
think it's
can
from the
think of.
UK.
Oh, yeah, we haven't watched
yeah.
that version of it.
But she's like, oh, RuPaul, there's absolute gluttony on the menu tonight. I do prefer a tender salami going down my tender breasts.
Oh.
And then she literally pulled up one of her answer cards. She's like, what is microwave? Like, girl, slay!
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
That show makes me so happy.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. But yeah, queer dragons.
Yeah. No, well,
Let's see.
yeah.
And then, let's see. He performs a sonnet about just drifting. And the boy is like, what the fuck?
You're like, who is this guy?
Who's this guy? It actually does sound like Pinocchio, but I don't think it's the same actor.
I was gonna say, like, I was gonna put that on my notes, but I was like, it's probably not the same one because even almost like the anatomy of him too looked like Pinocchio.
It's like, golly gee, Mr. Dragon.
Yeah,
I didn't know you like poetry.
Yeah.
Another one of Disney's golly gee kids.
But yeah, he starts reading his poems, right?
Yeah.
And then he tells him, well, like, don't you want to like kidnap a dame or like a damsel in distress? Or he starts like giving him like the
and he's like, oh heavens, no.
Yeah. Kind of like the stereotypical dragon, like things.
And he's like, no, I actually want to be the Queen of May.
I'm to be Queen of the May today.
Oh
yeah. And that's you know how it was, I guess it was like subtly, it was ambiguous, right? If it was like if it was, but then that was kind of like a, I don't know, like I don't want to say a nod, but I don't know if they were. Is it known if they were intentionally saying he was queer, or if it just came off that way, or?
I'll just say that they didn't let him finish his song in the movie.
Oh, was there like a lyric?
Well, yeah, he didn't say the "Here we go gathering nuts in May."
Here we go gathering nuts in May, nuts in May, nuts in May.
Oh.
Thing. They just cut him off as soon as the boy and Sir Giles showed up while he was having his picnic.
Okay. Damn,
so I think that would have been the most like on the nose lyric in the whole song.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to draw too much attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you can have the Kingsmen sing the whole thing in a derogatory kind of way.
Yeah.
But just drifting.
Yeah, it's weird that they were like if they didn't want to, it's kind of like you're either gonna go all the way or not do it. So it's weird that they put that in, but then they like milked it down, I guess. So then you're like, okay, so then what are you trying to say?
I think it might have. I don't even know if that would be a Hays Code thing. because it's not explicit either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would just be another thing about like being conscious of their audience, which would most likely be conservative. So, so I don't know.
But yeah, no. So after that, he he kind of like, have you seen? Have you
seen season 7 of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Meredith Vieira? I'm sorry.
No, have you seen Pete's Dragon?
Bits and pieces. I know about the Brazzle Dazzle Day.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was getting vibes from like well, you get a little kid and you befriend a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Also, isn't there a scene, like they have a musical number in a bar?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, no. I wonder if it's in the remake, because I haven't seen the remake yet, because I know they remade it, but in the original one, yeah, I'll just say this, he doesn't get enough love. That's all I'm going to say. I love Pete Dragon.
Elliot, yeah.
Elliot, yeah.
He makes a great float in the electrical parade.
I was gonna say,
Yes,
like when he came out a couple years ago, with a popcorn bucket and everything like that, I was like, finally, I thought we were getting some justice.
All right, we're gonna get into some Disney Park tea. I think the Elliot in the Tokyo parade is better than the one in the US.
Oh,
I haven't seen
it, but
probably.
Yeah, like Tokyo goes.
They go so hard.
They go hard, yeah.
They do. Mm-hmm. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
Step up your game, Florida.
Let's see.
I'm gonna save that for later. I can't talk about Florida anymore. Let's see. And then the boy goes back to the town, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Sir Giles, he's in this bitch." And he's like, "Who's Sir Giles?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's a strapping knight. He's a dragon killer." He's like, "Oh damn."
Yeah, I was scared at this point.
Yeah. But then he's depicted.
We cut back to the. I'm sorry, what?
Oh no, I was saying he's depicted as this, right? Like, there's even like a poster of him that he's like this, like buff.
Yeah.
Like, knight. Right.
I think it might have been another illustration in the kids' book.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like subverting expectations on both sides of the dragon and the knight. Yeah.
And he goes back off to warn him, and we're interrupting the dragon's flute lesson with a trio of birds.
So rude.
I know, it's terrible.
Finish.
Yeah. And he's like, "No, bro, I do not catch hands with knights of any kind." And the boy is like, "But come on, it's like what you're programmed to do." And he's like, "No, go off and bother somebody else. I'm in the middle of Sing Sweet Nightingale." And he decides to break into the inn where Sir Giles is staying. And he goes upstairs and he catches him in the middle of another bubble bath.
Yeah. Same as with the dragon.
Oh, that's true.
Pretty much.
I just put it together right now.
Yeah. So this kid just has bad timing.
It really does.
And then we find out that Sir Giles is actually a really scrawny, lanky old man. Also voiced by John McLeish. And I should have mentioned that the dragon is voiced by Barnett Parker, who is famous for playing like a bunch of smart-ass butlers.
I can see that.
Yeah, and he was also in a Mickey Judy movie. So, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Also, don't watch it because it also has blackface.
Oh
dear.
So, yeah.
This time.
Anyway.
But the knight is also a poet, right?
Yes. A bit of a bawd himself. And then he's like, "Oh my God, there's two of you." And then he's like, "Well, I guess we'll go hang out with this dragon, see what's up with him." And that's where he sings the song. And then he's like, "Oh, join me for a picnic." And they're like, So Sir Giles, he's got something to tell you. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm really into like sonnets." It's like, "Oh my God, a soul sister! Do tell me one." Well, first he tells the upside down cake
Mm-hmm.
home. It's cute. And then he tells him one about a radish that is so fucking red, and then he dips it in salt, and it's delicious.
And then the boy wants to recite one too.
I know.
Right?
Then he tries to
he
get
feels
in.
left out.
Yeah.
I loved his reactions.
Yeah, because like
what the fuck, bro?
no, but then he finishes it off by saying like, "You guys should fight."
Now, how about that fight?
Yeah. Like I don't think he finishes his poem. He just says something and then he's like, "Oh, anyway, how about that fight?"
'Tis evening, staring at the soft moonlight, which brings memories of friendship, joy, and love. Now fucking fight, bitch!
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, like he's into it too. The dragon killer's like, "Oh, we can have it here. It would be so good. The fight would look so good." And the dragon's
It's like a WWE match.
Yeah, and then the dragon's like, "I don't know about this, guys," and then he gets tricked into it, right? Like he gets like pretty much peer pressured into it.
Well, they sell him on how epic he'll look in the
Mm.
battlefield. Mm-hmm. And he's like, he'll roar and he'll rant and he'll pirouette around the field and whatever. And he's so caught up in this grandeur that he's like, we fight tomorrow? What? Girl, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, and at this point, they're leaving already. They're like, "Okay, you accepted."
Yeah.
And then they take off. And he's like, "Oh."
Yeah. Why don't I keep my big mouth shut?
And then meanwhile, like I think at this point, doesn't it just cut to the next day and then like there's there's like how do you call it, like benches, right? It looks like a sports game kind of thing.
Yeah.
It reminded me
Get
of, like,
your reserve seat. Find seats up on the upper branch.
Yeah, it reminded me of like
Up here, nice lady.
It reminded me of like Shrek, like you got some guy selling balloons. This part was funny
God, those
because-
were so weird.
No, but this part was funny because like again, all this is animated, so it was intentional. It's like on the bottom left, there's like it's like a guy selling balloons, and he's gonna hand it to a kid, and then the kid, as he's handing it to him, the kid turns around, and then he lets go of the balloon, and it starts to fly away. And then he tries to catch it, and then it cuts like to the next like scene.
So we never see like what happens to the balloon.
Yeah, you're like, what was that? Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was I like to catch things like that because especially when it's like animated, somebody was like, I'm gonna have fun and just put that in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what was up with that guy pushing his wife's ass up the ladder?
I don't think I saw that.
I don't remember that.
Or he was like supporting her or something, but it was like, get up here, you fine lady. One side, boys, one side.
Oh, see, you gotta watch it again because I remember that.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Oh yeah, and they're placing bets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Against the dragon and the knight.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Watch them.
Yes! He's got his hands up her ass. Or on her ass, excuse me.
Oh.
He's like pushing her all the way up.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So yeah, I was paying more attention than I thought. But yeah, meanwhile, after that, the dragon and the boy are sulking in the cave. And he's like, I'm just not mad at anybody. I'm just so queer that, like, I can't, like, catch hands. It goes against instinct.
And they're, like, drinking tea, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet? Oh, yeah.
But he's like, too bad, like, you're not masculine enough instead of being a punk poet.
Oh, right.
That's what he calls them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I guess was a negative word for gay people back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I found, but I had no idea. I didn't know that.
And yet punks became even cooler like 30, 40 years later.
Yeah, because like on a side note, like when our little puppy, when he does stuff that we don't want him to do, like when he starts biting me or whatever, I'm like, you punk. So then but I always took it as in like, it's just like, oh, like a jerk, right?
Yeah.
But then when a video that you sent us of, and then I guess it made sense. It was like, I guess it was supposed to mean like it was pansy for the time, and meaning, you know, kind of like frail, like timid, delicate,
effeminate.
Yeah. So then I can see how if somebody's like, oh, you're gonna punk out, you know, like I'm starting to put that together. But I always thought it was like, I don't know, I didn't know it was that. So when he said,
I think it's just another word like gay, where it's like it used to mean happy and now it means you're a dude and you're into dudes.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about like diving into Disney stuff like this is you learn things outside of just Disney. You just learn like history, the language of the time, and all of that surrounds it too. And you
it was a real killer diller.
Yeah.
Which also, I know that it's gay would have still meant happy back in the 40s. But that it paints the three caballeros in a completely different light for me.
Oh yeah, because of that line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like my cousin and I, we like to have this funny little headcanon thing where it's like Jose and Panchito, they're bisexual icons, but then Donald's like the real like straight guy in the bunch. Like they can restrain themselves because, you know, They are mature, they are developed and stuff, but Donald, he
can't.
And here's the thing. I know that y'all, obviously anyone who's uncomfortable with that, I totally understand. Like, it's fine. But him just thinking that he's got a shot with human women, like that, it still feels funny to me.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
No, and in that movie, he was trying to get anything he could get.
I know.
Yeah. You know, that was it was like, and I remember turning to Christina and I was like, was this before Daisy?
No, it was after.
Oh my god.
Poor Daisy.
Oh, god.
Daisy came around in 1937.
Okay.
So yeah. So
damn.
I guess what's up, Donald? What happens south of the border stays south of the border.
Apparently he didn't care, so
yeah.
He was like, it's my birthday. So.
Oh my god, it's his birthday weekend.
Yeah,
He's spending it in South America. Spring breakers. Let's go.
Look, essentially, like I don't know if you guys seen like describe a movie badly, but essentially this is like, describe the Three Caballeros for me. He's like, so there's this American dude who has South American friends, and they take him on a trip on his birthday. That's essentially what this movie. If you want to explain it badly,
I would just say that if you're talking about the Three Caballeros, you say that they took him on a trip in more ways than one.
That's true.
Which I love. I'm not going to deny it. It's awesome. But anyway, so after calling him essentially an F slur, the dragon breathes fire, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm Butch. I'm Butch." And then he gets ready to take on the knight, and I just love that they get away with everything under these like huge clouds of smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, and
so clever.
Yeah, and they know they're getting away with it too because they start dancing.
Yeah.
So
I love that actually.
Yeah.
And then he chases him into the cave, and this is probably the best part of the whole short.
Okay.
Which is like they're like, "Oh my gosh, poor Sir Giles, it's awful, isn't it?" Meanwhile, they're just drinking tea and like, fanning the smoke outside the cave. He's like, "Take that! Oh, one lump or two. Oh, on guard, you!" I love that.
I loved that part.
2 lumps, if you please. And then he chases him back out, and then he's like, "All right, let's finish for reals." And then he quote unquote stabs him. And then they're like, "Oh my gosh, Sir Giles, you won," when in fact you didn't really. But they're like, guys, the dragon, he is pretty cool.
So then
he could be the next Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
No, so this part kind of unless I missed something. So then they showed him being fake stabbed. That was for the people, right?
Yes.
So, but then so like it's I guess it's to make them think that he killed the dragon, right?
Yeah, or at least that he won over his opponent.
Oh, okay. And then after that, they're like, "Oh, well, he's cool." Like, or unless there's something I'm missing.
I mean, I will say they probably didn't need to like have the narrator explain that.
Okay.
They could have shown it, but I'm just like, we could have had him say like, this dragon, he ain't that bad. But I think it's also just a product of the time where it's like, if anyone is expressing any sort of deviance, then you have to code them as good or evil.
Oh.
Like it's a very black and white world we're living in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just thrown off because he got stabbed, and then I was like, did I miss?
Well, actually, no. Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. It's not a black and white world in Hollywood. People are getting away with shit like crazy, but but to the public,
yeah,
we have to perpetuate a black and white world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was just like, since I missed the guy pushing his wife up, I was like, did I miss something else here?
Yeah. No.
So
they just have to have him compromise and be like, I promise not to rant and roar and scourge the countryside anymore.
But then it's like he was like, I wasn't even doing that.
Exactly.
In the first place. So
exactly.
It's just like fear of his like from them.
That's essentially it's like, hey, I didn't bang any of your friends. Why are you still mad at me?
Yeah, and then at the end they're like in the castle, right? They're all having dinner.
Yeah.
But then he throws like a little like a smoke ring.
Yeah.
And then he like by accident almost. And then he like, it's almost like
oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's almost like is that a metaphor for anything? Like I can't show. Like that almost slipped out kind of thing.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know how much these guys would have picked up on that wasn't stereotypical.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it would like literally represent.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from just that smoke ring might as well have just been like a hey.
yeah. That's
I promise not to rant or roar. Hey girl, and then he takes it back.
He's like, I mean,
scourge the countryside anymore.
Yeah,
that's all I can think of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking because he blew it away, or like he like pushed it away as if to say like, oh, oops, that almost like did somebody like did anybody see that? That's what I thought it was meaning. Like,
So basically, he's like, I won't be gay anymore.
Oh man, man. Now it's all
that's sad.
Now like so it's not a happy like I don't know like it's like
it's a quote unquote happy ending, I guess, but it's not.
It's a happy ending for bigots.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah, because he was happy before, just by himself,
But anyway, the short ends on that note, and then his wife gets on his ass for being late.
So is that why he didn't like did somebody else give Walt the story? Because she was reprimanding him, right, for not doing it.
In the movie universe, I don't know who would have told him, but in the real life, then yeah, somebody would. Could have been little Jimmy from down the block.
Well, yeah, because
he's like, hey, Walt, have I got an idea for you?
Well, yeah, because apparently in this universe, anybody can just go to the studio. So
literally anybody. Without an appointment. Anyway,
right.
I still think it's so weird that they mentioned that he has to have an appointment, but they're like, anyways.
I'm gonna drive Joey to the studio.
Oh, yes.
I'll go shopping. You go meet with everybody else.
They'd be like, you're gonna talk to. Oh man, like they're like, we're gonna. You have an appointment with Bob Iger. I'm like,
Oh my god! Oh, not today. Not today. Not today. Oh, sorry, little Jimmy. I'm sorry your family can't afford their next month's rent because I'm here at my lovely lounge lake in beautiful Costa Rica.
Enjoying my millions of dollars in bonuses.
Oh,
I know. Yeah. So maybe next time, Jimmy.
So maybe next time.
That reminds me of a really great interview that Michael Eisner and his subsequent, I think it might have been his CEO, Mike Ovitz, or Michael Ovitz. Yeah, they were on an interview with I think Diane Sawyer, and she literally had to be like, okay, I'll call you Michael such and such, and I'll call you Michael something, and he was like, oh no, it was I'll call you Michael, and I'll call you Mike, and he's like. Mike Ovitz was like, why can't I be called Michael? and Michael Eisner literally said, you can be Michael next time. Because Ovitz was a ditz. So. But yeah.
You're like, for the next interview, you're Mike.
Yeah. But that's the Reluctant Dragon, everybody.
Yeah. Like I really had fun with this. Again, I didn't know what to expect, but I always like anytime that I get to see how a movie is made in any regards, I love it.
Yeah, I love that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, I guess if you guys are interested in more of that stuff, Walt, he would go on to produce his television series in the 50s. And there's a lot of episodes that talk about the production of various movies.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
A lot of them are also glamorized. But there's one in particular, there was a short film during Sleeping Beauty where he had 4 artists go out to this area in California. I'm afraid I can't remember where. But he had them all design this tree in order to capture a look that he wanted for Sleeping Beauty. And I think Ivan Durrell, who was the conceptual artist, was there as well. But things like that are more like you can't control the elements, you know? Instead of like there's one episode where they have Helene Stanley, who is the live action model for Cinderella, Aurora, and Anita from 101 Dalmatians. They have her stand in for a scene about live action reference for Dance of the Hours from Fantasia. And obviously she wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
So little inaccuracies here and there, but it's in the name of a good show. So, I guess my final question that I share at the end of every episode is, how do you think The Reluctant Dragon influenced the way the Walt Disney Studios produces films to this day?
It almost seems like you said, there were those that TV show with Walt that kind of did like a behind the scenes on how things were made. Maybe they, like you said, they were getting so many questions on the studio, how these movies were being animated and put together, that they realized that it was an important element to include in terms of content for their audiences. And maybe that's what helped them. We haven't researched this far yet, but maybe that's what eventually will help them gain a bigger audience and get those box office numbers up again. It's like showing people how these films that they love so much are being made. So I think maybe that's what The Reluctant Dragon kind of started. It almost seems that way to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even things with like on Disney Plus, they have like behind the attraction, things like that.
They had that Frozen 2 documentary.
Yeah, like it's just about I don't know, like for me personally, when I can see how something is made, it makes me like it would make me go back and watch the movie again. and then going forward, be more interested in like, this is not just something that they made over the weekend. There was thousands of people working on this, this 2-minute scene took probably like 2 months, things like that. So I think when audiences saw this going forward, it was like this thing of like, oh, I'm watching something that it took a lot of hours, and you have like multiple artists that work on it, so it's like quality work. So that's how I feel that it influenced going forward.
I think also it's really interesting to see how I think Walt got a lot of the recognition with Snow White and the success of that film, and then seeing how it was almost like he was part of this film, obviously, and he was like the main event, but almost showcasing the entire studio, everyone that, maybe not the actors, but like everyone involved to make the films, and how they are just as important as the person that had the initial idea or inspiration, that I don't know if other studios do even nowadays. So I think that sets Disney apart even today.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would be as in-depth.
Right.
Yeah, no. Because the closest
Especially back in the day, it's like, we'll never let you know that Judy Garland was on meth.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the scary part.
What about yourself?
Well, I guess I better go check and see if I have any remaining stats to run off.
Mm-hmm. Pretty
much got through all of them without my voice going out, so that was really great. Basically, I'll just say that this movie came out 1 month 1 month after the Disney strike began.
Mm-hmm.
And there were picketers across various theaters, not just at the studio, but people protesting at various venues where the movie was being shown. One striker actually wore a dragon costume, which read "The Reluctant Disney." But I guess before I share my point, in keeping in relevance with, strikes going on today, while the Disney studio was originally not supportive of the strike, the Technicolor company was, and they refused to distribute more than 75 copies of this movie when the studio had asked for 175.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is partly their fault why some people don't know about this movie. But for good reasons.
Right.
Yeah. But I would say, because y'all have really tackled like the business and the studio side of things, I will go ahead and say that this influenced them in the sense that just make it gayer. And that's another thing. Is like the fact that I'm not offended by this dragon from 1940, and yet we're having so many articles about Disney's first gay whatever over the last 6 years. Like, it's irritating. And it's like there's a lot of Disney podcasters who really shit on this period in the studio history, some of which is for good reason, but I feel like a lot of people refuse to acknowledge that things aren't exactly sunshine and rainbows now. So
right.
Yeah.
It's like we're getting better, but we have to acknowledge the nuances in the past as we do in the present.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and while, of course, this movie may have very problematic depictions of people and may or may not have been made with the best intentions, we now know that a lot of these things were harmless. Well, maybe not to the audiences and whatever, but to Gio Fujikawa, for example. The fact that she put up with this, it shows that she was a really classy lady. So yeah, basically just get better, get gayer.
Yeah, well, it's like you were saying. Nowadays, it's you still see controversy and stuff like that. So when people look back and they're like, "Oh, it was so bad before," and then in contrast, like if it's so great today, there's there's always issues. But if you focus on like the positive parts of things, because a lot of people worked on this, it wasn't just like if you see a movie that's 2-3 hours, and then 5 minutes of that is like the most like bigoted, racist thing ever, but then the rest of it is nice, and all these people worked on it. You can't just dismiss the whole movie.
Yeah,
so.
And even with the context that we've gotten,
right?
Yeah, especially with that, yeah.
So, well, actually, you know what? Do you guys want to go ahead and give it a rating?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, here I got mine right there. I got mine right here.
Awesome.
Okay. So go for it.
On our podcast, we usually also give a rating 1 out of 10, but for myself, I give this film a 7 out of 10. I absolutely love the live action portions. Like Joey, I love seeing how things are made. I love seeing the people that are creating this, because it's nice to just see that, to see how passionate they are about things, or how easily it comes to them, like how easily he can draw Goofy, or it's just so fascinating to me. The shorts to me were just like an added little tidbit here and there. I did really enjoy The Reluctant Dragon. I thought the story was interesting and unique. So 7 out of 10 for me. I would definitely watch this again now, knowing Robert Benchley's opinions on this.
No, for myself, I give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, strictly because I just love behind the scenes. I love, like I said, I love sound effects, all these things, how a movie is made, and then just how, even though you can see how they made everything, once you're just watching the film, it's so like hidden to the point where even though you just saw how like a sound was made, you wouldn't think of it. Like a special effect or animation, even though they're showing you, like you put this frame next to this frame and then it makes them jump. When you watch it in the film, you're not thinking that, and that's like the magic, like the movie magic. So for me, it doesn't take away anything from like seeing how it's made. If it just adds to it, because I'm like, like this is how, like for example, this is the last time I'm gonna say this. Have you seen? Have you seen the latest animated Spider-Man movie, Across the Spider-Verse?
Across the Spider-Verse? No, I haven't, but I've heard pretty good things.
Okay, so there's a scene in that movie that is about, maybe it's like towards like the end. It's like a chase scene. It's maybe 10 minutes, like 5-10 minutes. But apparently that scene took 2 months. I believe it was no. It was almost a year to animate. So just that scene, because it had so much characters in it and stuff, and a bunch of moving parts, and even in that one scene, it had 3D animation, it had 2D animation, it had stop motion. So to put all that together, just that. So we're just watching it, and you just see, like that was a cool 5-minute scene, and then but if you didn't research, you wouldn't know. It took 100 people 6 months to just make this, and to me that adds to it. So just seeing behind the scenes stuff, and then seeing it in real time, like the Casey Jr. part, hearing the sounds and watching the animation. So to me this movie gets a 9 out of 10.
Okay, well, we don't usually do ratings on Disney Reel to Reel, but I'm about to make up one.
Okay, do it.
Yay!
I will give this movie I give it an 8 out of 10. I think this is a movie that does have replay value. I feel like this kind of goes against what movies are meant to do when it's like, this isn't a movie that I can just pop in and just like chill out and have it in the background or whatever. Like but I mean, like I want to pay attention to it, but there are just some things here and there that I kind of have to wrestle with just because of the person I am. But then again, I have Walt and Ken Anderson to ease the pain.
Like, pause it, screenshot.
That reminds me, you're probably going to see an update to my profile picture. It's going to be his face.
Photoshop next to him.
But yeah. It's so funny because it's about the making of some of my favorite movies. And yet I wouldn't put it in the same tier as them.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, well, like that's where the movie magic comes in, because you can see how it's made, and then some people love that part more, or some people are like, I don't want to see how it's made. I just want to see the finished product.
Well, I think it's just because like my 3 favorite Disney movies would have already been made by the time they started working on this. So it's kind of like, it's cool to learn about Bambi. I like Dumbo. The early versions of Peter Pan and Lady and the Tramp that they're working on are kind of questionable. But yeah, if they had thought about this like before Pinocchio came out, like maybe I'd be like, yes, feed me more. But yeah, I feel good about that.
Cool. Yeah, solid 8. Nice.
Yeah. But I guess that concludes this chapter on Disney Reel to Reel.
Yeah, well,
the longest episode I have ever recorded.
Is it? I wasn't sure.
It really is. The next longest was nearly 2.5 hours.
Okay. This is going now. Okay. I literally just looked at the timestamp right now. I wasn't really.
This is a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. But I think I'm happy. Like, we covered all the bases. We had a fun time. So yeah, I guess, can you tell the lovely listeners where to find you guys?
Yeah. So you can find me, Christina, and Joey, on Instagram, TikTok, on social media at When You Wish Upon a Podcast. That's when letter U, Wish Upon a Podcast. And of course, you can listen to our podcast and our latest episodes on Spotify by the same name, When You Wish Upon a Podcast. But we do post on Instagram a lot more often. You can chat with us there. We kind of cover mainly what episode we're covering for that week or whatever. And we like having conversations about these movies because it's not just like a oh, you watched it, cool, did you like it, yes, no. Like, we want to dive into the characters. We want to know what you guys think of like what was going on at the studio at that time, maybe why the movie was made. Do you agree with it or not? Is it your favorite movie? Why do you love it? Why do you hate it? Like, we just love Disney, so we'd love for you guys to follow along with this too.
Yeah, just leave the nitty-gritty stuff to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
We go to Disney Reel to Reel to get like that in-depth, like super obscure information that makes things like so much more valuable to know. Like, it makes like learning these facts, and I'm like, oh my god, like I didn't know that. That's super cool. And then you have like this, like all this super unique trivia after I check out your posts. I love it so much.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, no, even just now listening to you, every time you would go in 1948 or did you know that this and this and that, and I was like, oh please, yes. I love it when you're like, side note. I'm like, oh yes, we're gonna get something.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. So, does this mean there might be a round 2 in the future? Maybe.
I mean, maybe we have to go over the 3.5 hours.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
No, but like for me, this has been so awesome. Again, we started this because we we love Disney, and then the way we started was because we would just go to the movies. This is like pre-COVID when we were just going to the movies every other Friday, and it wasn't like an issue or whatever. And then this is before we were married, so then I would drop her off at her house. But then after the movie, we would just stay in her car for like an hour talking about the movie that we just seen. And then we just found ourselves like, oh, did you like this part? Oh, yeah, this part. Oh, did you know that this actor was in this and that? And then an hour were passed, and then I think we were both just mentioned that could have been like an episode of a podcast. Yeah, and then the years went by, and we just kept like thinking about it, and what would we talk about? And then we were like, well, we love Disney. And then Christina came up with the idea of what if we do the animated movies, but for like a timeline from the beginning.
Yeah, because even myself, as someone who's seen and grown up with Disney, like I hadn't seen all of them before, so it was like this would be a great opportunity, great excuse to get into them. So it's been really awesome, and we've met some really awesome people. So yeah.
Yeah, no, and I was just gonna say, like all of that, making the podcast stuff, and now we're here, and now we met you, and you're awesome. So then, like it's like things like that, like from years ago to like
a random idea we had to getting to meet awesome Disney people like yourself. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm. Aw, guys, stop it!
He's like, oh, start.
Don't stop, please. All right. Well, whether it happens in the near future or in the next year or whatever, until next time, have a magical day, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for having us.
Well, as the night wore on, we talked till dawn of, many, many things. Of fish and chips and cricket bats and kidney pie and kings. Now at break of day, I slipped away for Ipswich by the sea. And no matter where I am, in Piccadilly or Siam, now when I have my tea and jam, this song comes back to me like this. I'm the reluctant dragon, what ho, quite so. The very reluctant dragon, oh very, very, don't you know? They call me the timid dragon, what rot, I'm not. I just won't fight, I'd rather play. I know I shan't get hurt that way. Here we go gathering nuts in May. Oops, I'm reluctant.